Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter number 4, Text number 11 and 12. Shri Shuka Uvacha Yevam Shaptva Gato Gastyo Bhagavan Nrupasanugaha Indradyumnopi Rajarshir Dishtam Tadupadharayan Apannaha Kaunjarim Yonim Atmaspriti Vinashinam Haryarchananubhavena Yadgajatve-pyanusmritihi Evam Shaptva Gato Gastyo Bhagavan Nrupasanugaha Indradyumnopi Rajarshir Dishtam Tadupadharayan Apannaha Kaunjarim Yonim Atmasmriti Vinashinim Haryarchananubhavena Yadgajatve-pyanusmritihi Evam Shaptva Gato Gastyo Bhagavan Nrupasanugaha Indradyumnopi Rajarshir Dishtam Tadupadharayan Apannaha Kaunjarim Yonim Atmasmriti Vinashinim Haryarchananubhavena Yadgajatve-pyanusmritihi. Someone would like to recite? Evam Sattva Gato Gastyo Bhagavan Nrupasanugaha Tishtam Tadupadharayan Apannaha Kaunjarim Yonim Atmashriti Vinashinim Haryarchananubhavena Yadgajatve-pyanusmritihi Nrupasanugaha Mataji's. Oh, sorry. Atmashriti Vinashini Mataji's. Haryarchananubhavena Yadgajatve-pyanusmritihi. Sri Shuka Uvacha. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, Evam, thus, Shaptva, after cursing, Gataha, left that place, Agastyaha, Agastya Muni, Bhagavan, so powerful, Nripa, O king, sa anugaha, with his associates, Indradyumnaha, King Indradyumna, api, also, Rajarshihi, although he was the Rajarshi, Dishtam, because of past deeds, Tat, that curse, Upadharayan, considering, Apannaha, got, Kaunjarim, of an elephant, Yonim, the species, Atmasmriti, remembrance of one's identity, Vinashinim, which destroys, Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Archana Anubhavena, because of worshipping, Yat, that, Gajatve, in the body of an elephant, Api, although, Anusmritihi, the opportunity to remember his past devotional service. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Sri Sukadeva Goswami continued, My dear king, after Agastya Muni had thus cursed King Indradyumna, the Muni left that place along with his disciples. Since the king was a devotee, he accepted Agastya Muni's curse as welcome because it was the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, although in his next life he got the body of an elephant, because of devotional service, he remembered how to worship and offer prayers to the Lord. Purport. This is the unique position of a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although the king was cursed, he welcomed the curse because a devotee is always aware that nothing can happen without the desire of the Supreme Lord. Although the king was not at fault, Agastya Muni cursed him, and when this happened, the king considered it to be due to his past misdeeds. Tatenu kampam sosamikshamanaha. This is a practical example of how a devotee thinks. He regards any reverses in life as blessings of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, instead of being agitated by such reverses, he continues his activities of devotional service, and Krishna takes care of him and enables him to be promoted to the spiritual world, back to Godhead. If a devotee has to suffer the reactions of his past misdeeds, the Supreme Lord arranges for him to be given only a token of these reactions, and very soon he is freed from all the reactions of material contamination. One should therefore adhere to devotional service, and the Lord himself will very soon see to one's promotion to the spiritual world. A devotee should not be disturbed by unfortunate circumstances, but must continue his regular program, depending on the Lord for everything. The word upadharayan, considering, is very significant in this verse. This word indicates that a devotee knows what is what. He understands what is happening in the material conditioned life. Om ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjanashalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya manobhishtam sthapitam yena bhutale swayam rupaha kada mahyam dadati swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guroh Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. I offer my respectful obeisances to all the devotees at ISKCON, Melbourne. Very happy to meet all of you once again after almost a year. And today we are discussing from the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th chapter, where Sukadeva Goswami is describing the past life of Gajendra. In the previous few chapters, Sukadeva Goswami described Gajendra's episode, how he faced this predicament of being caught by a crocodile, and ultimately he offered prayers to the Lord, he surrendered to the Lord, and the Supreme Lord Vishnu came on the back of Garuda and released his Sudarshana Chakra and protected Gajendra from this crocodile, and also liberated the crocodile. So it's a very wonderful episode. In fact, the favorite episode of so many Bhagavatam readers and very relatable episode for devotees who are undergoing some kind of calamities in life, reversals in life. But in this chapter, Sukadeva Goswami not only describes what has happened in the previous life of Gajendra that led him to become an animal, become an elephant, but he also describes the consciousness of a devotee in accepting those reversals. So the story is like this, as many of us know, that Indrajamna Maharaj ruled the kingdom with responsibility. And when the right time came, he gave up the kingdom, he gave up his position as the ruler of the kingdom, and he went to a forest and he started worshipping Lord Hari with full concentration. He was doing some austerities, detached from everything on the planet, just focusing on his worship of the Supreme Lord. But one day, a great sage named Agastya Muni came to Indrajumna Maharaj's humble, simple hermitage in the forest, and he was accompanied by his disciples also. But because Indrajumna Maharaj was so absorbed in his worship of the Supreme Lord, he did not offer any reception or welcome to Agastya Muni. Then Agastya Muni felt neglected. He felt offended. Okay? He is supposed to be very cultured, but he is not receiving me. He is not welcoming me. What kind of poor guest reception is this? He felt offended. And Prabhupada writes in this purport, although Indrajumna Maharaj was not at fault, it's not a conscious neglect. It's not a deliberate neglect. But he was absorbed in his worship of the Lord, therefore he could not receive him. But still Agastya Muni felt that it is inappropriate on his part to give such a cold reception to a Brahmana guest, sage guest. So I have to curse him. So he cursed him to become an animal. Now, sometimes we may make some mistakes. Definitely, when a Brahmana guest comes to your home, you need to offer him reception, loving reception. If you fail to receive a guest at your home, or hermitage, whatever you may call, if you fail to receive a guest, that is considered an offense, naturally. But intelligent people consider in what consciousness did this person make that mistake. Okay, let's recollect some instances within Srimad Bhagavatam only, where exemplary guest reception is given and cold reception is given. Now you see, when Rukmani Devi's messenger, a Brahmana, came with a letter, love letter, written by Rukmani Devi, Krishna received him with so much of love and affection and respect and asked him, what was the purpose of your visit? Then this Brahmana messenger opened Rukmani Devi's letter and then started reading. Shritva gunan bhavana sundara srinvatam te nirvishta karna vivaraihi haratonga tapam. He was reading all these shlokas. And Krishna understood the message and responded to the message by kidnapping Rukmani. But the point there is, Krishna receives this Brahmana guest with so much love, so much affection, and he inquires about his welfare. He would ask him, how has been your travel? Was the travel very safe and comfortable? And how are you doing at your home? Are you being nicely maintained and protected by your king, Bhishmaka? And he also glorifies the importance of upholding Brahmanical culture, and also highlights the importance of kings protecting and respecting Brahmanas and maintaining them. So like that, so much of cultural discussion was there. In another instance, when Sudama Brahmana comes to Krishna's home in Dwaraka, to Rukmani's palace, Sudama was received by Krishna with so much love and affection, and Krishna treated Sudama as if he would treat his elder brother Balaramji. Right? To that degree, Krishna was very cultured in receiving guests, Brahmana guests at his home. And we also see Prithu Maharaj in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He received the 4 Kumaras with so much love and affection. He washed his feet. Prithu Maharaj said, I will not ask you, how are you? Generally when somebody comes to your home, you will ask, how are you? How are you doing? But Prithu Maharaj says, there is no point asking, how are you? You are always good. You are so devoted to the Lord. You are so absorbed in your spiritual practices. In fact, you should ask me, how am I? Because I am rotting in this material world. Of course, Prithu Maharaj is an exalted devotee, but out of his humility, he considers himself a lowly Kshatriya, caught up in so many material responsibilities, not sufficiently absorbed in spiritual practices. So he feels that he is dependent on 4 Kumaras for their grace, for their mercy. So he says, I will not ask how are you, but I will, with great gratitude, I will receive you, wash your feet. He washed their feet. He asked some questions, and it's like wonderful guest reception, right? In fact, when the 4 Kumaras descended, Prithu Maharaj was absorbed in, giving some teachings to his citizens. He stopped his class and he received. He received 4 Kumaras. So that is a wonderful example of good guest reception. On the other hand, we see Bhishma Dev. Bhishma was lying on a bed of arrows, not roses. Not a single limb of his body was functioning, actually speaking. Every inch of his body is pierced by Arjuna's arrows. Except his tongue, none of the limbs of the body were functioning. But so many people came. Krishna came along with the Pandavas, and along with Krishna and the Pandavas, so many Brahmarshis, Rajarshis, Devarshis also came. Parashuram came, his own guru. Jamadagni came, Vishwamitra came, Sukadeva Goswami came. Then Vyasadeva came, Dahumya came. So many universal celebrities have assembled there to hear some instructions on morals and other kinds of dharmas from Bhishma Dev. And Bhishma Dev received them. Not with Arghya, Padya, Achamaniya, but Bhishma Dev received them with loving words. When you don't have the sufficient means to receive guests, offer them reception, offer a big seat, simhasan, wash their feet. When you don't have all these facilities to receive guests nicely, at least offer them sweet words. So that is culture. Bhishmadeva received. Even in such circumstances where none of his bodily limbs were moving, still he received all of them with his sweet words. So this is the culture of guest reception. Once the Devatas lost their positions in the heavens, then their mother Aditi, she felt so morose. She was feeling so bad, extremely sad that my sons lost heavenly kingdom. And her husband Kashyapa Muni came to their home after doing some austerities or some travels, and she was looking very sad. And Kashyapa Muni asked Aditi, "What is the reason for your sadness, my dear wife, Aditi?" He jotted down so many reasons. What could be the possible reasons? Are you sick? Are you not doing well in your sadhana? When our sadhana is not proper, we may feel little sad. We have to feel sad, by the way. When our, one day chanting did not go well, one day you could not hear Bhagavatam. A sadhaka is supposed to be disappointed and feel something missing in life if sadhana did not go well. So he asked so many questions, and he identified what could be the reason for her dissatisfaction. One of the reasons that he listed was, could you not receive guests at home properly? Could you not welcome guests who came to your home? Is that the reason for your sadness? When a guest is not received properly at home, one should feel that dissatisfaction, that guilt, paschatap, repentance, right? Are you repenting for that? Why are you looking so sad? He asked. Means that's an importance. That's the importance of receiving guests nicely. And another point that he mentions is, homes that do not receive guests well are like homes of jackals. Kashyapa Muni tells Aditi. In this way, Bhagavatam presents good examples of guest reception and good instructions on guest reception. On the other hand, in contrast to all these 5-6 examples that we discussed so far, there are other set of examples. Once in the great heavenly assembly, Indra was sitting on his royal throne. So many Vidyadharas, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Charanas, and many different celestial personalities and Apsaras were praising Indra, were singing and dancing, and it's a very wonderful festive ambience in the heavenly assembly of Indra. Then Indra's Guru Brihaspati came there. Indra noticed him, and he did not do anything. He came. He has been coming every day. Yesterday he came, day before yesterday he came. Every day he is coming to the assembly. Why should I do anything to receive him? He noticed and deliberately neglected this Guru, his Guru. He is not just an ordinary guest. He is not just a Brahmana, regular Brahmana. He is a Brahmana Guru. He is the spiritual master of the Devatas. And in fact, the Devatas' survival is dependent on the blessings of Brihaspati. But still, Indra, noticing him, he deliberately neglected him. And Brihaspati did not do anything. Brihaspati did not say a single word. He understood. Indra is very puffed up of his material opulence. Indra is puffed up of his position as the king of all the Devatas and the heavenly assembly. So let me not be in this assembly which is presided by a proud personality. He just got up and left. Got up, no, he didn't even sit, because nobody offered him a seat also. He just came, stood there, and nobody is there to attend to him. He just silently left. Then Indra became very morose. He realized his mistake. He regretted for the mistake. But somehow in life, Control Z option doesn't work. Command Z doesn't work. Undo option is not there. So by the time Indra realized his mistake, regretted for his mistake, repented for his mistake, and wanted to beg forgiveness from his Guru Brihaspati, already the situation slipped out of his hands and Brihaspati is no more accessible. Although Indra had sent all the Devatas in all different directions to search for Brihaspati, Brihaspati was nowhere to be seen. And meanwhile, all the demons, because of their worship of their Guru Sukracharya, they became so powerful. Ordinarily, the Devatas are more powerful and demons are less powerful, but because of the offense done by the Devatas towards their Guru, demons became more powerful. And also, the demons worshipped their Guru nicely, therefore they became more powerful than even the Devatas, and they overpowered the Devatas and occupied the heavenly planets, and the Devatas came around. All because of not receiving Guru with respect. Right? So that is Indra's situation. Another episode. Too many examples, is it okay? We are seeing a cross-sectional overview of Bhagavatam by seeing this purport. That's what the shloka says. Agastya Muni cursed Indra because Indradyumna Maharaj, because Indradyumna Maharaj did not receive him well. So Indra lost his heavenly planets because of his cold reception. In another context, there was a great sacrifice being done by all the Devatas and sages in the universe. And so many Devatas assembled there, and Daksha entered that sacrificial assembly. Everybody stood up to receive Daksha, to welcome Daksha. But two personalities did not stand up. One is Brahma, second is Shiva. Daksha went and offered obeisances to Brahma because his father, he was not expecting his father to get up and receive him and welcome him. So at least that much culture he had, he offered obeisances. And he saw Shiva next to him. And he became furious. He expected reception. So far we have seen the responsibility of a host to receive a guest. But what is the responsibility of the guest? He should not feel offended. When the host, at least circumstantially, did not receive him, guests should not feel so offended, so bad, and he should not definitely insult or curse the host. At least that much common sense and self-control one should have. Although it is not proper on the part of the host to not properly welcome the guest, but humble guests should not take it so seriously. They should not even feel that I deserve this kind of treatment. That sense of entitlement should not be there. But Daksha had that sense of entitlement. Just like Brihaspati did not speak a single word. He did not give a feedback to his disciple Indra. If Brihaspati had chastised Indra, he would have been justified. But Brihaspati, being very humble, he just silently left that place. I think I am not wanted here. I am not welcomed here. Okay, let me just clear this place. Let them have their heavenly enjoyment. He just silently kept quiet. That's a wonderful response. But Daksha, being so arrogant, he expected welcome from Shiva. And Shiva, it's not that Shiva deliberately insulted Daksha. Shiva closed his eyes and he was meditating on the Supreme Lord, Vishnu, Vasudeva. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. Because of his absorption in Lord Vasudeva, with his closed eyes and with meditation, he just did not notice Daksha. In fact, Shiva, even if he opened his eyes and he was consciously observing everything, still he did not get up. Because Shiva's position is as good as Brahma, in fact better than Brahma. If Brahma need not get up when Daksha came, Shiva need not get up at all. Because Shiva's position is better than Brahma also. Right? Although Shiva is the in charge of mode of ignorance and Brahma is the in charge of mode of passion, still Shiva as a Vaishnava, he is much superior to even Brahma also. Shiva is not a Jiva. Brahma is a Jiva. A very qualified Jiva to occupy the position of the creator of the universe, but Shiva is not even a Jiva. He is as good as Lord Vishnu. So he need not get up. But Daksha considered that he has accepted my daughter as his wife. He is my son-in-law. I am his superior, I am his father-in-law. He is supposed to respect me. Basically that was because of his envy and pride that Daksha expected this kind of reception from Shiva, and he criticized Shiva publicly. He cursed Lord Shiva. That's very poor culture. A Vaishnava is supposed to be upholding Vaishnava culture. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadaharihi. Kirtaniya sadaharihi means a devotee is supposed to be humble, humbler than blade of grass, tolerant. And a devotee is supposed to be respectful to others and not expect respect from others. Then he will be able to chant the holy names of the Lord. But Daksha did not respect Shiva and he expected respect from Shiva. Exactly opposite. And he did not tolerate. He has no humility. He is exactly opposite to Trinadapi Sunichena verse in that context. In another instance in Bhagavatam, first canto of Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj was hunting and he became very tired. He became very fatigued. He became thirsty and hungry and he came to the hermitage of Shamik Rishi. And Shamik Rishi was absorbed in meditation. He was in dhyana, deep dhyana. And Parikshit Maharaj asked him, I need some water. No response. Cold reception. And it's not a conscious cold reception. He was conscious of Krishna. He was totally unconscious externally. But Parikshit Maharaj got offended. He kept a dead snake around the neck of Shamik Rishi and he left. For that, he was cursed to die within 7 days. But later he repented for the mistake. In this way, Bhagavatam is filled with so many good examples and bad examples of guest reception. But coming to this, our current chapter, Indradyumna Maharaj could not receive Agastya Muni when he came along with his disciples. And Agastya Rishi became very offended. He was extremely affected by this kind of cold reception given by Indradyumna Maharaj. And Indradyumna Maharaj was silently worshipping the Lord. And Agastya Rishi cursed him. Evam shaptva gato gastyo. Now, what is the consciousness of a devotee when a devotee does mistakes? That's the point. That's the theme of this shloka in the purport. So, it's important that we receive guests properly at home, but he could not do it. It's a mistake. But it was not a deliberate mistake, and he was cursed. He was punished for that mistake. And how did he receive that mistake? That's the point that the shloka is emphasizing. Evam shaptva gato agastyo bhagavan rapasanugaha. So Agastya Rishi cursed Indradyumna Maharaj. Evam shaptva. Gato agastyo. He went away along with his anugaha, along with his companions, along with his disciples. Then Indradyumno api rajarsher dishtim tadupadharayan. So Indradyumna Maharaj, although he's a rajarshi, he's not an ordinary king. Rajarshi means a sage amongst the kings. Means he's a king, but he's as good as a sage. If Agastya Rishi says, Indradyumna Maharaj is no less. He's also like a sage. So Indradyumna Maharaj thought that dishtam tadupadharayan. Upadharayan, Prabhupada focuses on this word upadharayan, means he considered that this curse is the result of my own past misdeeds. I have done some mistakes, and as a result of my mistakes, my past misdeeds, I have been cursed to die in this way, or cursed to become an elephant in this way. Further he says, Apannaha kaunjarim yonim atmaspriti vinashinim. So this one little purport and couple of shlokas are giving rise to so many important lessons and themes here. He says, Apannaha kaunjarim yonim atma smriti vinashinim. He entered Kaunjari Yoni. Kunjara Yoni means this species of elephants. Kunjara means an elephant. Although he entered the species of an elephant, still he was fortunate. From the position of a great Rajarshi, a king, a human being, he fell down to the position of an animal. So basically he's gliding down. There are 84 lakh species. Of these 84 lakh species, human species are considered very fortunate. But here Indradyumna Maharaj got animal species. Very rarely we find animals taking to the path of devotional service, coming to temple, offering worship to the deities, very rarely we find. Yes, there are some special cases, exceptional cases, but mostly human life is considered an opportunity to worship the Lord, to perform bhakti yoga, but not animal species. But still, although he is in animal species, Atma Smriti Vinashinim. Generally in animal species, Atma Smriti Vinashinim, one's memory, one's remembrance of one's own spiritual identity is destroyed. Atma Smriti Vinashinim. Animal species will completely destroy one's memory or one's understanding or realization of one's spiritual identity as souls. Mama ivamsho jiva loke jiva bhutas sanatanaha. One forgets one's spiritual identity. Even in human species, most people forget spiritual identities. They identify themselves with body. But those who are studying scriptures, those who are a part of Vedic culture, spiritual culture, at least they are aware of their spiritual identities as servants of the Lord. But most of the animals, 99.99999% of the people in the animal species, they can't even remember. Atma Shruti Vinashanim. But Gajendra remembered. That point, not 1% I said, right? They remember. One of the examples is Gajendra. Right? You see. Hari Archananubhavena yad gajatve api anuspritihi. Hari Archananubhavena. He has done Archana, worship of Lord Hari, in his past life as Indrajumna Maharaj. Anubhavena, because of that experience or realization of worshipping the Supreme Lord, he was able to remember the Lord. Anusmritihi. Yad gajatvepi anusmritihi. Although he became a gaja, an elephant, he could remember his past life. He could remember the slokas or prayers that he has memorized in his past life. This is a hope-giving episode in Bhagavatam. Very hope-giving. Even if somebody glides down to lower species, to animal species, but if that person has a background of worshipping the Supreme Lord, doing some little devotional service in the past life also, that service, that experience of service will protect the person in the next life also. So that's why we need to perform bhakti. Akamaha sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhihi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Whatever may be your background, whatever may be your consciousness, whatever may be your motives, start bhakti. Better start bhakti. Akama, you have no desires, no problem, perform bhakti. Bhakti is not done only with desires. Desireless people also can perform bhakti. Sarva kama, you have all kinds of desires, perform bhakti unto Krishna. Moksha kama, you are specifically desiring liberation, still perform bhakti. Udaradhihi tivrena bhakti yogena, perform intense bhakti. Yajeta purusham param, worship the Supreme Lord, Parama Purusha, Krishna. So, Parama Purusha is Krishna, Purusham Param. That's what is recommended here. Because once you worship the Supreme Lord, even if you fail to complete the process of bhakti, the Lord will rescue us even in the next life. That's why Neha Bhikramana Sosti Pratyavayo na Vidyati Swalpamapyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. Even if you have performed little bit of bhakti, that bhakti will protect us even in the next life. That's the power of bhakti. Further, the outlook or the perspective or the consciousness of Indrajumna Maharaj amidst difficulties is highlighted in this shloka and this purport. Prabhupada says, he quotes this shloka, Tateno kampam susamikshapano bhunjana eva atmakritam vipakam hridvagva purbhir vidadhan namaste jiveta yo mukti pade sadaya bhag. Tateno kampam susamikshamano. A devotee analyzes the circumstances that he is facing in life. A devotee understands that I am facing these reversals, these difficulties, these problems in life as a result of my own past misdeeds. Atmakritam vipakam. All these unpleasant experiences I am facing in life because of my own past misdeeds. And what am I supposed to do in this context? I should understand that they are sanctioned by the Lord. Prabhupada writes also in the purport that not a blade of grass moves without the sanction of the Supreme Lord. Even if it is a happy moment in the devotee's life or a distressful moment in the devotee's life, it has to be ordained by the Lord, sanctioned by the Supreme Lord. And when the Lord has sanctioned an experience for me, who am I to oppose it? How can I go against it? How can I disapprove it? The Supreme Lord has sanctioned this suffering for me. How can I lose faith in the Lord? Just because the Lord has arranged some unpleasant circumstances in my life, that does not mean the Lord does not love me. Prabhupada also writes, as a token reaction to our past misdeeds, the Lord may arrange some kind of unpleasant circumstances or reversals in a devotee's life, and that is only meant for the devotee's purification or glorification. If he is already pure, he doesn't need purification anymore, but still to highlight how faithful a devotee can be even amidst reversals, the Lord arranges difficulties in the lives of devotees. Indrajamana Maharaj, although he was cursed to become an elephant, he did not think that the Lord is not merciful to me. I worshipped him for such a long time, and why did he arrange this kind of situation to me? Parikshit Maharaj also never felt like that. In fact, Indrajamana Maharaj welcomed the curse. Prabhupada writes, he welcomed the curse with gratitude. Thank you, my dear Lord, for purifying me for all the bad things that I have done, misdeeds that I have done. Even Parikshit Maharaj also. In fact, after insulting Shamika Rishi by keeping a dead snake around his neck, Parikshit Maharaj repented for his mistake. He went back to his palace and reflected on what all he has done. And he repented for the mistake. He honestly regretted for the mistake. And he expected a punishment. And he desired a punishment. Expecting a punishment is at one level, but he genuinely desired, let me be punished for the mistake that I have done, for the offense, for the heinous offense that I have done to a Brahmana. Let me be punished for it. And if I am punished, I will not repeat the same offense again. If I am punished, people who are connected to me are not affected for my mistake. Let me only suffer for the mistake that I have done. So in this way, Parikshit Maharaj welcomed the curse. When Gauramukha, our Shamika Rishi's disciple, came and communicated to Parikshit Maharaj, my dear sir, you have been cursed to die within 7 days. Parikshit Maharaj received that news with so much of jubilation, so much of happiness. He felt that the Lord is so kind that he arranged this circumstance for me so that through this curse I can develop detachment to everything material. This curse is a blessing in disguise. This curse is a cause of my indifference towards all material facilities, all material positions and privileges in this world. I can give up everything and I can take shelter of the Supreme Lord. So that is the mood of a devotee. Even if a devotee is cursed to die, even if a devotee is cursed to become a demon, like Chitraketu Maharaj was cursed to become a demon, Vritrasur. Even if a devotee is punished to glide down to lower species, like Indrajamana Maharaj glided down to lower species, that is elephant species. Bharat Maharaj, he became a deer in his next life. So even though devotees face such intense difficulties, it's not that they lost some property or had some sickness or something like this. They became animals. Still, they did not lose faith in the Lord. In fact, after becoming animals, their faith in the Lord has increased. Their absorption in devotional service, their prayerful attitude, their desperation for the mercy of the Lord has become more and more after experiencing that punishment. So whatever increases our faith in the Lord, whatever experience intensifies our absorption in the Lord, whatever curse or unpleasant circumstance that increases our prayerful attitude, that's favorable for our advancement in bhakti. Therefore, let us welcome those reversals without doubting the intentions or integrity of Krishna. That's what Indrajamana Maharaj has done. He did not misunderstand the Lord. Oh Lord, I have been worshipping you. I have to become an elephant now. How can I worship you if I become an elephant? He became an elephant. And after becoming an elephant, he lived like an elephant for a while, as the king of the entire forest. But when this crocodile caught his leg, he remembered the past life. That's what is mentioned here. Yad gajatvepi anusmritihi. He remembered his past devotional service and he offered prayers to the Lord. Now this is not just a story of Gajendra. Many people, many souls, conditioned souls, who could not perfect their devotional service in one lifetime and who had to take another birth as human beings or animals in the next life because of incomplete practice of devotional service. It is the story of every such soul. So Gajendra took shelter of the Lord, and our minds are also like Gajendra. Gajendra was affected by crocodile. Maya is like crocodile in one sense. And what did Gajendra do? He offered prayers to the Lord. We also should offer prayers to the Lord. Samsarambhasi samhruta brahmabhare gambhirata patraya grahena abhigrihita mugragatina kroshantamantarbhayat deeptrenadya sudarshanena vibudha klantichhida karina Chinta santati ruddha muddhara hare macchitta dantishwaram. Macchitta dantishwaram. My chitta, my consciousness is like dantishwaram. What is dantishwaram? Danti is that animal that has dantas. Big tusks. That is elephant. Dantishwara means the king of all elephants. That is Gajendra. Macchitta dantishwaram. My mind is like that Gajendra. My consciousness is like that Gajendra. That is affected by the allurements and distractions and temptations of Maya. And crocodile represents that Maya. All the temptations and distractions and material desires that we have, they are all this Gajendra. They are all crocodile. Right? Our consciousness is like Gajendra and our distractions are like crocodile. So we need to pray. Just like Gajendra prayed for the Lord's support, Lord's assistance when crocodile caught his leg. Similarly, when we are caught by distractions and allurements and Maya, material desires, we need to offer prayers to the Lord. Samsarambhasi sambhruta brahmabhare gambhirata patraya. Samsara ambhasi. In this ocean of samsara, material existence, brahmabhare, which is filled with so many brahmas. Brahma means this illusions, right? Samsarambhasi sambhruta brahmabhare. I have been immersed in this samsara, in this ocean of material existence, which is filled with so many illusions and temptations and distractions. Right? Brahmabhare gambhira tapatraya. And the samsara sagara is also filled with tapatraya, threefold material miseries. Miseries caused by body and mind. Adhyatmika kleshas. Miseries caused by so many other living entities. Adi bhautika kleshas. Miseries caused by natural disturbances. Adi daivika kleshas. Gambhira tapatraya. Sometimes these tapatrayas are gambhira. Very grave. Very intense. We need to first realize our position as people who are drowning in an ocean which is filled with so many difficulties, the waves of difficulties. Samsarambhasi sambhruta brahmabhare gambhirata patraya grahena abhigrihita mugragatina akroshantamantarbhayat. Already I am drowning in the ocean that is filled with so many waves of difficulties and distractions and problems. On top of it, in this great ocean, there's a great crocodile that has caught my leg. Being in an ocean itself is such a pitiable situation. On top of it, a crocodile caught the leg. Grahena abhigrihita mugragatina. This graha means crocodile. Ugragatina caught me very fiercely. Not that the crocodile came, did like this and then went away. And not that crocodile caught hold of us for 5 minutes and then released us and then went away. It found something else. Or we released ourselves nicely and then we left. No, Gajendra's leg was caught by the crocodile for 1000 years. Initially Gajendra was thinking, after 5 minutes this crocodile may leave me. After 10 minutes it may leave me. After 1 day it may leave me. 1 day passed, 10 days passed, 1 month passed, 1 year passed, 100 years passed, 1000 years passed. It's not leaving only. Sometimes problems are permanent. Sometimes doctor tells us you have to live with this problem whole life. Some difficulties, some diseases, they may be cured in 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, 1 month, 10 months, 6 months course. You will be cured. But even if you take 6 years course or 100 years course, the disease may continue sometimes, right? It's like that. Grahena abhigrahita mugragatina. So because this graha, this crocodile caught us ugragatina very fiercely, akroshantam antarbhayat. There is bhaya. There is so much of fear within, and akrosha. Akrosha means crying very piteously. Rodan, akrosham. I am crying very piteously because of this crocodile. Akrosham antarbhayat. I am being very fearful. Oh Lord, please protect me. Grahena abhigrahita mugragatina kroshantam antarbhayat. Deeptrena adya sudarshanena vibudha klantichhida karina. Oh Lord, in such a circumstance, in such a predicament, I am taking your shelter. Please release your effulgent Sudarshana chakra. Release. Deeptrena adya sudarshanena vibudha. Adya, today, release your Sudarshana chakra, Deeptrena, which is very effulgent. Sudarshan chakra is not just source of effulgence, but source of heat also. Source of light and source of heat and source of destruction of all the miseries of devotees. Right? Release that Sudarshan chakra, oh dear, my dear Lord. Deeptrena adya sudarshanena vibudha klantichhida karina. What is the speciality of the Sudarshan chakra? The Sudarshan chakra has the track record of destroying all the difficulties of even great devatas also. Vibudha means devatas. Even devatas were protected by the Sudarshan chakra. I am an insignificant elephant. You can easily protect me. Chinta santati ruddha muddhara hare machitta dantishwaram. Just like you have protected that Dantishwara, Gajendra, by releasing that Sudarshan chakra, relieved him from all chintas. Chinta santati ruddha muddhara hare. Oh Hare, uddhar karo. Just protect me. Just deliver me. My mind is like that. My mind is like that crocodile. Actually, Gajendra initially prayed for liberation from this jaws of crocodile, but later Gajendra's prayer evolved. Gajendra did not say, oh Lord, don't just protect me from this crocodile. Please protect me from the ignorance, from this false ego of identifying myself with this material body. Because the soul identifies with the material body, and when there is a problem to that body, the soul suffers. But as soon as the soul disconnects oneself from the material body, stops identifying oneself with the material body, even though so many things are happening with the material body, nothing happens to the soul. Right? See, if you have your favorite dress, and you are just walking and then it got stuck in the door hinges and then there is the dress got torn. Right? If it is your favorite dress, then you cry. Oh my God, my favorite dress is torn like that. But if you have no attachment to that dress, it's okay, it's an old dress anyways, I'm about to discard. Probably this is one of the last times that I'm wearing it, and it's the arrangement of the Lord that it is torn. I can ask my parents, purchase a new dress. So you feel happy because there is no more identification, there is no more attachment to the dress. Right? When there is no more attachment, then you are oblivious. Whatever happens to the dress, you are unaffected. But to the degree you are attached to it, to that degree you feel bad. Similarly, to the degree the soul identifies oneself with the body, which is like another dress, to that degree the soul gets affected. When the body is in trouble. Gajendra's body is in trouble. Gajendra's soul is never in trouble. Most of the difficulties that we face in our material world, in this material world, are bodily difficulties only. Are mental difficulties. Subtle bodily difficulties are gross bodily difficulties. But when we stop identifying ourselves with the subtle and gross bodies, then no difficulty. Right? Gajendra initially prayed for protection amidst this predicament, which is on a physical plane. Gajendra's leg is caught. Leg is material. Gajendra's body, although it is so huge, it is made of earth, water, fire, air, ether only. Right? So problem happened to the body, but the soul is praying to the Lord. And because of that intense prayer to the Lord, Gajendra understood, why am I praying for the deliverance of my body? Oh Lord, please release me from this identification, bodily identification. Please release me from this ignorance. Please release me from this false ego. That is really troubling me. Not this crocodile. Crocodile is my friend, my dear friend. That's helping me to offer prayers to you. So make friendship with calamity. Whenever calamity comes, whenever reversal comes in life, understand that reversal, that calamity is only meant to make us more prayerful, make us more dependent on the Lord, make us remember the Supreme Lord, and recognize that only Krishna can protect us, nobody else can protect us. Gajendra was in that predicament. Then all the elephant friends of Gajendra, they're standing on the shore of the lake and they're crying, oh, our dear friend Gajendra has become like this. We are unable to do anything. But they are unable to do anything. They were crying for Gajendra. They had compassion for Gajendra. They had feelings for Gajendra. They are concerned about Gajendra's protection, but they could not do anything. Right? And all the devatas were watching. Vibhudhas, they're watching this whole fight, big match. Just like people in this world watch cricket match or football match sitting on a stadium, high galleries from top, right from there they see, right? Similarly, these devatas also are sitting in the higher planets, they're watching. What's happening to Gajendra? How long this fight will continue? 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, 1,000 years? Okay. But can you do something to protect Gajendra by killing that crocodile? Yes, all the devatas had the ability, but they have no intention. They had the capacity to protect Gajendra, but they had no compassion on Gajendra. In this material world, there are some people who have the ability to help us, but they have no intention to help us. And some people, they have the intention to help us, but they have no ability to help. And Gajendra had access to both. Elephants are concerned about Gajendra, they have no capacity to protect Gajendra. And the devatas are indifferent to Gajendra. And who is the protector? Who has both ability and intention? Who has both capacity and compassion? Only Krishna. Krishno rakshatu no jagatra yaguro krishnam namadhvam sada krishne nakhila shatravo vinihata krishnaya tasmai namah krishna deva samuthitam jagadidam krishnasya dasosmyaham krishne tishtati vishvameta dakhilam Hey Krishna Rakshasvamam. When we can say, Hey Krishna Rakshasvamam. Oh Krishna, you protect me. I am fed up, I am frustrated by seeking protection from so many material sources. I tried with my contacts. In my phone there are 1,000 contacts, but nobody could protect me. I tried with my own powers. With my sensual strength, with my physical strength, with my mental strength, with my intellectual strength, I tried to come out of this predicament, but I could not protect myself. I failed. Others failed to protect me. And who can protect me? Only you can protect me. That's what Draupadi also did. She tried with Bhishma. She tried with Drona. She tried with the king Dhritarashtra, who has all powers, apparently. And Pandavas, they were like totally caught up because of the shackles of dharma. Nobody could protect. Finally, Krishna came in the form of sari and protected the honor of Mother Draupadi. And no devata could protect, no elephant could protect, no other animal could protect. Although Gajendra was the king of the entire forest, none of his citizens, none of his entourage protected Gajendra. Sometimes we are so intoxicated with power, so much power, position. We are in a great position, so many people are reporting to us. But they may be following our orders, but when we are in some difficulty, what can they do? Can they actually help us? So we may accept power and position only to serve. That is a service. All these devatas, all these kings like Indradyumna Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, they accepted their positions only as representatives of the Lord to render service to the citizens and not exactly to enjoy that position. Gajendra had that position. What an average human being could aspire for in life: power, position, followers, name, fame, dhanam, janam, sundaram, everything he had, Gajendra had access to. But when a crocodile caught his leg, what did that power do? What did the followership do? What happened to all this entourage? His position as a king, whether it is king or a mosquito, whether it is a topper or a pauper, whether he is like very great celebrity or a beggar on the street, whatever it may be, when some kind of troubles come, nobody can rescue us. Only shelter is Krishna. Krishno rakshatu no jagatraya guro krishnam namadhvam sada. Therefore, let us take shelter of Krishna. Krishnam namadhvam sada. Let us always take shelter of Krishna and nobody else. Right? Of course, you can definitely seek help from others, seeing them as representatives of Krishna. You can help others, considering yourself as a humble, menial servant of Krishna, appointed to help another devotee. Right? On behalf of the Supreme Lord, you can help. Considering yourself as a servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna's servants, you can help with whatever abilities and resources that Krishna has provided to you. But whether we seek help or whether we help others, our position does not become God's position. We are always subordinates to the Lord. So, whatever circumstance brings us to this realization that Krishna is the only protector, Krishna is the only savior, that circumstance is welcome. Let us welcome that circumstance. However unpleasant it may be, materially, externally, it is a wonderful circumstance when it brings us closer to Krishna's shelter. Therefore, devotees don't hate reversals. Devotees welcome reversals. Not that devotees are lovers of reversals. Devotees are lovers of Krishna, and if a reversal helps them come closer to Krishna, they welcome it. That's what Kunti Maharani did. Vipadaha santutaha shashvat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yasyata punar bhavadarshanam. All these shlokas are not meant for recitation and remembrance and repetition in the exam to get marks and get certificate, Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, certified, done, Bhakti Vedanta, so 8th canto is done. They are all meant for application. They are all meant for practical application. When a real difficulty comes in our lives, what is our outlook? We must have memorized Kunti Maharani's prayers. Vipadaha santutaha shashvat, tatra tatra jagadguru. But are we in that mood of Kunti Maharani when we face a calamity? Aho kashtam aho anyayam yadyuyam dharmanandana. So many customs, so many difficulties they faced. Anyayam, so many injustices they have faced. All these Pandavas. But they never lost their faith in the Lord. Just like Indradumna Maharaj never lost his faith in the Lord himself. Prabhupada writes, if a devotee has to suffer the reactions of his past misdeeds, the Supreme Lord arranges for him to be given only a token of these reactions, and very soon he is freed from all reactions of material contamination. So, if there are sadhaka bhaktas, they face reversals despite their sincere practice of bhakti, because there may be some traces of anarthas left, some aparats left, some mistakes they must have done. As a token reaction to those mistakes, the Lord will arrange some kind of unpleasant circumstances in their lives. Let us happily embrace them. Don't feel a sense of entitlement. Yes, Krishna should protect me. Even from all these calamities. Because I am practicing bhakti, I should not face any difficulties. No, that's not the understanding of a devotee. This difficulty, I am facing this difficulty in life because Krishna sanctioned it. And Krishna's sanction is not random sanction. He doesn't randomly say, okay, this difficulty, kaun hai? You take it. This devotee, you take it. You take this difficulty. He's not randomly assigning difficulties and reversals, problems and health problems and financial problems to devotees. Krishna is very personal. He gives super customized treatment. No amount of artificial intelligence can mimic Krishna's real intelligence, Krishna's natural intelligence. And no technology can mimic Krishna's ability to store data, analyze data, and produce a reasonable outcome of all that analysis. A very befitting outcome, right? So nowadays you just give some data to some system and it will analyze and then give some kind of result and summary, right? Some result. So Krishna can give the right kind of result by analyzing all the data. This person in this 1000 lifetimes have done this 100 million mistakes. So what is the right kind of punishment to this person? Krishna will figure it out, and it's perfect. His plan is perfect. His decision is perfect. So let us accept Krishna's decision with gratitude. A devotee should not be disturbed by unfortunate circumstances, but must continue his regular program depending on the Lord for everything. Depend on the Lord. Whatever the Lord has ordained, let me accept it, implement it, be grateful for it. So let me not hate the Lord, let me not misunderstand the Lord. So these are a few thoughts based on these two shlokas. Thank you very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I don't know when to stop. 8:30 or 8:09? What is the ending time? Should we take questions now? Any questions, comments? Yes, Prabhu, Balwan.
Prabhu, harekrishna, Prabhu, thank you. Thank you so much. Prabhu, just one question. In Bhagavatam, when we read about some of the devotees, like now we are reading about Gajendra, we come to know about his past life. And when we read few other like Jada Bharat, we come to know about his past life. But when we have read Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, it doesn't give the past life. And one thought comes as, if we don't understand the past life of a devotee, we don't get the complete picture. Like for example, Dhruva Maharaj became a devotee by just in 6 months, right? When we hear, we look, it at times it's very difficult to accept the thing. So how do we, it's very selective, Bhagavatam is selective. So how do we understand this?
The purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam is to highlight devotional service. Tatra jnana viraga bhakti sahitam naishkarmyam avishkritam. The purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam is to highlight bhakti. And as far as giving details of stories is concerned, Bhagavatam may sometimes give elaborate details. Prahlad Maharaj's story is explained in 10 chapters, 7.1 to 10. Maybe second chapter he enters. But Dhruva Maharaj's story only in 5 chapters. Ambrish Maharaj's story in half chapter. Gajendra's story in 3-4 chapters. 3 chapters basically. So sometimes the past lives of a devotee may be given, sometimes they may not be given. Sometimes the activities of devotional service of a devotee are explained elaborately and sometimes very concisely. Ambrish Maharaj is such an exalted devotee, but his devotional qualities are summarized in 3 shlokas. Savai Manaha Krishna Padara Vinduyar in the next 2 shlokas, and then few other shlokas. And the entire chapter is like summarized, episode is summarized in half a chapter. That to only one incident in his entire life. It's not a biography of Ambrish Maharaj, it's one incident in his life. So Bhagavatam may or may not provide all details in all cases. But the principles are very clear. And when Bhagavatam doesn't provide the details, if we still trust the potency of bhakti, that is like we are getting the intended message of Bhagavatam. My acceptance of this ultimate lesson of devotional service, pure devotional service, should not depend on my awareness of the details of what all has happened to this devotee. Only if you give me the past life of this devotee, I will accept. That bhakti is supreme. In 6 months also one can become a pure devotee. In one muhurta, 48 minutes, Khatvanga went back to Godhead. So, Ajamil, for example. In the past life of Ajamil was a Brahmana who was kind of trying to cross the river, but he drowned. So one lady saw Ajamil and jumped into the river and protected him and gave some warmth and then tried to revive him. And this Brahmachari just got up And then saw this lady, how dare you touch me? I'm a Brahmana, I'm a brahmachari, you're behaving like a prostitute. How can you touch another man? I curse you to become a prostitute. He said like that. And she is also powerful, she's not an ordinary lady. I curse you that I will become the cause of your fall down. You are calling me a prostitute for helping you? I out of my kindness and compassion, I helped you, and then you curse me like this very fiercely? I will become the cause of your fall down. So some Purana says this. I don't know the reference, and I heard it from some devotee. But by hearing that, we get some kind of satisfaction. Yes, now I understood the past story of Ajamil. But what is the main message of Ajamil? Ajamil story's lesson, main intended message is take shelter of the holy names of Krishna. Sanketyam parihasyam vastobham helanameva vaikuntha nama grahanam asesha aghaharam viduhu. That's the message of Ajamil episode. Whether you consciously or unconsciously chant the holy names of the Lord, the holy name of the Lord is so merciful and so powerful that it can help you. It can destroy your sinful reactions. That's the message of Ajamil. So what happened to all the swans and chakravaka birds that are there in the reservoir of water where prachetas are offering their prayers? What happened to them? What happened to the dog that is walking behind Rishabhadev in the 6th canto? He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What happened to the dog? Sometimes these details are not mentioned. Sometimes you can infer, but sometimes you may not be able to infer, but message is clear. So our acceptance of the message of bhakti should not depend on the amount of details that are given, amount of analysis that is given, but it should depend on who is speaking that. Sukadeva Goswami is speaking that. We have faith in it. And there is sufficient details, not that Bhagavatam is hiding all the details. Bhagavatam is giving sufficient details in some episodes, and sometimes Bhagavatam may be summarizing. That's fine. Thank you. Mike.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful class. Prabhu, you mentioned how Indrajumna did not receive Agastya Muni, not because of neglect or like deliberately, but because he was absorbed in meditation of the Lord. And Agastya Muni cursed him, and which turned into a blessing. And you also mentioned whenever a devotee gets cursed, it always becomes a blessing. Like we see Manigriva and Nalakuvera, intentionally they did not receive Narada Muni, but still their curse became a blessing. So how do we understand? I mean, like for us devotees, that gives us a license to commit mistakes, because we know even if someone gets angry and curses us, we can still get that blessing.
Yes. To add further spice to your question, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Apichet suduracharo bhajate mamananya bhak sadhureva samantavyah samyak vyavasito hi saha. Even if my devotee commits abominable mistakes, sudurachara. Durachara is bad culture. Mistakes, offenses. Sudurachara means extremely sinful activities. Still, bhajate mam ananya bhak, if he performs devotional service unto me without any distraction, I will consider him sadhu. So all these episodes are not meant to encourage us to become complacent in bhakti or deliberately commit mistakes. Although Krishna may forgive occasional circumstantial non-premeditated and unintentional mistakes of a devotee, he may not penalize the devotee for their unintentional mistakes. If somebody deliberately commits a mistake, the Lord will allow the devotee to undergo the sufficient reaction. Right? So, curse may be a blessing, but there is curse also. Nalakvar and Manigriva, they got opportunity to see the Supreme Lord's childhood pastimes by standing in Nanda Maharaj's courtyard, but they were standing like trees. They could not play like gopas or cows or calves, right? So there is an experience of curse, definitely. Not that the curse is completely invalidated, but through the curse, there is a blessing. Definitely, Bharat Maharaj fell down to animal species. He became a deer, but still, he got to remember the Supreme Lord in the deer body, but definitely he is in the deer body, right? So there is some experience of the curse, but devotee doesn't get affected internally by that curse. So in essence, the answer to your question is, devotee should never take it as a license to deliberately commit mistakes. The Lord will definitely arrange for some punishment or some kind of reaction to deliberately committed offenses. Sometimes when the children are too mischievous, parents may still be kind towards the children, right? They may accommodate the children. They still love the children, no doubt. But what is parents' actual expectation from the children? My child should be disciplined, should be well behaved. Even if they are mischievous, kids are mischievous, parents may love the children, but the parents' expectation is, okay, our child should be well behaved. So what should the child think? Even if I do mischief, my parents are loving me, let me continue to do mischief. Or let me be well behaved and give happiness to my parents. What should a good child do? Option B. Good. You are an intelligent child. So that's what we are supposed to do. The Lord doesn't excuse deliberately committed mistakes. Accidentally committed mistakes, out of past habits, because of inability to overcome certain mistakes, somebody may just give in to that habit because of the strong past impressions. But devotees sincerely want to grow from there. So the Lord will allow some time for them to grow. But if there is no intention only to overcome the mistakes, then we are deliberately committing mistakes. The Lord will do the needful.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Okay. Whose question should I take? Yes, ma'am.
Prabhu, you were mentioning the reactions due to the sinful activities. What is the difference between the reactions to sinful activities and reactions to Vaishnava paradas or aparadas?
Dhuli lepa and vajra lepa. You understand? There is dhuli, there is dust. You make a line with your finger on the dust. How long the line exists? Maybe a few minutes, maybe a few hours, right? Because of the wind or because of people's movement, the line may be erased very soon. But vajralepa, with a thunderbolt, you make a line on rock. How long the line exists? Some centuries, right? Vaishnava Prati is like that, vajralepa. Sin is like dhuli lepa. Aparad is like vajralepa. Papa is like dhuli lepa. Means reactions to sinful activities may be eradicated soon by sincere practice of bhakti, but reactions to deliberate offenses committed to a Vaishnava have very serious repercussions, and one may be haunted by those reactions even in the next life also. If you don't sincerely repent for the mistakes and sincerely beg forgiveness from those devotees. Examples you want? Daksha offended Lord Shiva in the first Manvantara, Swayambhuva Manvantara. It's a great Vaishnava aparat, deliberately committed Vaishnava aparat, very grave offense. And the effects of this Vaishnava aparat haunted Daksha even in the next life when he took birth as the son of Prachetas. And in the sixth Manvantara, again Daksha committed another offense to Narada Muni as a result of his offense done to Shiva. Means 5 Manvantaras, 5 into 71 Divya Yugas, more than 350 Yugas, 350 Divya Yugas. The power of the offense that he has committed to Lord Shiva haunted him and made him an offender to another Vaishnava. Because he deliberately committed a mistake, committed offense out of envy and out of pride. Circumstantially, for example, you are dancing up and down in Kirtan, you happen to land on someone's foot. And I'm sorry, Prabhu, you say that. And they will say, I don't mind. Even if they're hurt, they will say, I don't mind. But if you deliberately just harm him, demotivate him, discourage him, pull him down, politically manipulate the situations to get favor on one's own side, then that is very, very dangerous. Right? So, Ashwathama, and many such personalities who committed deliberate offenses to devotees. If although offense is little grave, if one realizes one's mistake and begs forgiveness from that Vaishnava whom he has committed offense to and falls at his feet and genuinely begs forgiveness, and the Vaishnava may forgive and offense is kind of mitigated. Just like Rahugana offended Jada Bharat, but he realized his mistake and begged forgiveness. Durvasa Muni offended Ambrish Maharaj, but Durvasa Muni fell at the feet of Ambrish Maharaj and it's like kind of mitigated. So the only way to come out of Vaishnava aparadhi is sincerely beg forgiveness at the lotus feet of that Vaishnava towards whom we have committed aparadh. Only he has the ability to protect us. Even Krishna has no ability to protect us. If we are sincere, Krishna will give us that intuition, will give us that inspiration from within. Hey, looks like you have done a mistake. Go and beg forgiveness, if we are sincere. And also, it's a good practice to reflect on our activities. So, once in a while, once in a day, or once in a week, or once in a month, somewhere, you just kind of reflect what all I have done. But for a sincere devotee, instead of even before deliberate reflection and contemplation, immediately they will understand, instantly they will understand. Oh, I have done something. That devotee became a little uncomfortable, let me just go and say sorry. So immediately they are cleared. After all, we are human beings, we make so many mistakes in our interactions with other devotees. But when we realize them, regret for them, and apologize for them, the reactions are nullified. But more than all these small occasional mistakes, when somebody deliberately tries to politically manipulate the situation to defame another Vaishnava, pull down another Vaishnava, they have very serious reactions. Small things are generally forgiven. Yes, Mataji. Last question, right? 9 o'clock.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for your inspiring class. I have a question with the four Kumaras. It is said that they offended the Parshadas, Lord's Parshadas. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur comments like, even though they are qualified for Dasyaras, they only got Shantarati. So they disqualified. By offending Indradyumna Maharaj, who is a pure devotee as well, did Agastya Muni got any
That's
reaction?
Not mentioned.
Nothing.
That's not mentioned. But what we understand from the purports is, in one sense, Agastya Muni is also kind of acting as an instrument in the Lord's will. If he had not cursed, we would not have Gajendra episode. We would not have Gajendra prayers. Right? Similarly, it's very clearly mentioned in Chitraketu Maharaj's case. Parvati Devi cursed him to become a demon. It's very clearly mentioned that Parvati Devi is acting as an instrument in Lord Sankarshna's will to purify Chitraketu Maharaj of that slight tinge of pride he had and enable him to go back to Godhead within a lifetime as Vritrasur. Yeah, I mean, Agastya Muni, what happened to him is not mentioned, but we can infer that the Lord has arranged the situation in the life of Indradyumna Maharaj through Agastya Muni.
The Lord arranged for Kumaras as well, right? For the two incident to happen.
Four Kumaras, okay. Yeah. Four Kumaras, they became angry on Jaya and Vijaya, which is not appropriate. They did not maintain that patience. Although Sukadeva Goswami mentions clearly that Jaya and Vijaya demonstrated Bhagavat Pratikula Shila, means a mentality or a consciousness which is against the Lord's mentality or which is not compatible with the Lord's expectation. The Lord actually wants to receive Brahmana guests nicely at his home, but Jaya and Vijaya stopped them, which is the mistake. There is a mistake on their part. And in response to that mistake, four Kumaras cursed. And this curse is also an arrangement of the Lord in one sense, because the Lord wants to experience that Virya Rasa, fighting spirit with his own devotees, and they became Ravana, Kumbhakarna, etc., etc. But four Kumaras also, Jaya and Vijaya also did a mistake. They even stopped Lakshmi Devi once. Nevertheless, it all happened by the will of the Lord. In that way, four Kumara, Jay and Vijaya, did not actually fall down to the material world. They continued their service as doorkeepers in Vaikuntha. Only their expansions came to the material world to fight with Ram and others. So there are different layers of understanding. So what is intended, the intended message to us, we need to take it. We should not offend devotees. And also the Lord respected Jaya and Vijaya's mood also. Somehow they felt that four Kumaras should not enter Vaikuntha. The Lord did not allow Kumaras to enter Vaikuntha at all. He came to the gate and gave them darshan. So he fulfilled the desire of Jay and Vijaya. And four Kumaras wanted to see the Lord. He fulfilled their desire also. He came and gave darshan. So according to Jay and Vijaya's desire, the Lord did not allow Kumaras to enter Vaikuntha. According to four Kumaras' desire, the Lord gave them darshan at the gate. So the Lord can solve a multi-constrained optimization problem. Okay. I don't know, we are beyond 9. Last time Prabhu said it's an offense to Mahaprasad if we go beyond time. Yes.
My Guru Maharaj was just giving a lecture last week on Jai Vijay and four Kumaras. Four Kumaras, when they appear on the gates, they were impersonalists by that time. And they say that impersonalists, they don't have approach to Vaikuntha. So my Guru Maharaj explained that this was due to the Yoga Maya's arrangement, so that all the pastimes can happen. But Jai Vijay, they de facto didn't make a mistake because impersonalists were not to be allowed. And we know when four Kumaras become devotees after smelling the tulsi leaves from the feet of the Lord after he came out. Yes. So that was all Lord's arrangement and Yoga Maya's arrangement.
Yes. We need to learn whatever is the lesson intended to the behavior of four Kumaras, to the behavior of Jaya and Vijaya, to the behavior of Lord Vishnu in responding to the situation. At the same time, all this happened for multiple purposes, ultimately under the arrangement of the Lord. Thank you, Mataji, for that. Hare Krishna. No.